Hi. Hello. I tend to go by as unique on everywhere, just sincerely unique on Twitch, Alex Soul on Crystal Data Center Marlboro. I am back once again with my Final Fantasy XIV New Game Plus Marathon streams. This is my final one. We are on the final day of being able to play the game before Endwalker maintenance. And today, we've been doing my favorite quest lines. Oh, excuse me. Teehee. We've been doing my favorite quest lines in the New Game Plus format, and we are doing Shadowbringers. Today, we are doing the side story, the Role Master quest, and the Void Calls. This is what you get nowadays in Shadowbringers for completing the Shadowbringers Role Quests on a tank, a physical DPS, a caster, and a healer. Endwalker will obviously split them all up into 5 roles, but that is the case for Shadowbringers. And the patch notes just came out today, and I'm super excited to check out those Endwalker role quests. I will be streaming them when I can. Okay. Let us finally just get going with this. I am very excited because it has been nearly a year. I think it's been like 11 months. I'm dead serious since I last did these quests, because I did them on Christmas Day 2020. The Role Master quest. So, the cardinal virtues are no more, for you and the bounty hunters of the Wandering Stairs have successfully laid them to rest. After imploring you to share the details of your adventures, Glynard proposes calling together the patrons and celebrating your grand accomplishments. However, the libations will have to wait, for Ciela would reward you for your labors with a singular tale, that of the true villain responsible for so much of the realm's misery who yet lingers in this world. This questline has no duties, it has no duty finder or solo instances, it is just cutscenes, just like my Heavensward stream. So this today will be very much more chill than when I was doing Omega. We have to go to the markets. It's gonna be wild. I can't, the Crystarium is gonna be so empty. Well, not too empty, but like initially it won't be empty, but I feel like it's gonna empty out a lot coming up here. I'm going the wrong way, by the way. One thing I also really wanted to mention is I have my challenge log ready. Like I have it ready to go to start leveling Sage. I will be uploading my Sage leveling VOD onto YouTube. Alright, what do you have to say for yourself? Welcome to your home away from home, the Wandering Stairs, where we serve the finest ale you'll find on this side of the Crystarium, courtesy of the Facet of Nourishing, of course. Glynard is overjoyed to welcome the conquering hero's return. This guy is in the 1.0 trailer, by the way. He literally is talks to the Derplander. Well, if it isn't the Great Hunter himself! As if you don't know, all 4 of the cardinal virtues laid low, all of your help, you're the talk of the stairs, Salix. When the knight returned to Lakeland... Sorry. We knew in our hearts that change was on the horizon, but never did I dare hope that you might help us get rid of those terrible fiends. You've surpassed my wildest expectations. Here she is. Not mine, Glynard. Hi. When I first laid my eyes on him, I had an inkling that he was the hero we'd been waiting to come along. Huh. Easy to claim after the fact. If you'd indulge me, though, I would love to hear how it all played out. The hunting of the virtues, that is. My word, there's so much more to it than I realized, and there I thought had only tracked down the bloody things, gods. Though, the things you learned about the Warriors of Light, so many secrets and details lost over time. And for all their hard work and sacrifice, they somehow brought about the flood? Can't say I understand it at all, but it is bloody tragedy it is. We should gather the others and toast their memories, heroes of Eld, brave and true to be remembered forevermore. Now, I'll thank you not to let your bleeding heart drive you to offer up a fortnight stock of spirits. Attend to your other customers and let me speak with the hero of here and now. Whatever could I do without your good sense and wisdom? Very well, I'll leave them to you to entertain him. But don't think we won't be having that drink someday. Salix, I must thank you for sharing with us such incredible tales. 'Tis only right that I repay you in kind. With the ending, that is. With the story of the true villain who towers above the virtues. The devil more deserving of death than any that yet lingers in this world. If your curiosity has been piqued, then meet with me atop the balcony overlooking the crystalline mean. I will be waiting there until you do. Farewell. I love the Ellison bow. I really do. Do. We are off to the crystalline mean. I did stream the crystalline mean quests. I really love them, and I'm so excited for the studium deliveries. Seriously. So excited. My Discord is once again blowing up. Oh, there's a tower over here. I guess I probably could have done the other thing. Oh, well, we'll just walk up this. I think this is where we're supposed to go anyway. Right? Sure. It is. Wow. Here she is. You came, as I knew you would. Never met a mystery you could leave well enough alone, or a demon that you could let live, am I right? And this demon is undeniably deserving of death. Make no mistake. To cut them down would be just improper, and the act of a goodly person. And that is just what you are. I can see that. No need to grow impatient or be offended, my friend, but before you pass judgment on this villain, you need to understand their part in everything. Who they were to the fallen warriors of light, for instance. Of course, right about now, you must be wondering how I know what I know. What a tavern wench of all people has to do with any of this. Let me tell you, I am the one who brought together the virtue hunters. I am the one who marked you as a potential ally to them and bade you to join them in their quests. I alone knew what had to be done, and what sort of sinner would be needed to see this tale of tragedy and betrayal brought to an end. But come, we have many malms ahead of us still, to Colusia and the Codger's Crook. I will go on ahead and wait for you there. We are off to Colusia. Oh god. I read the journal out for Tales of the Dragon Song War, but this is such a long journal entry. Phew. Here she is. You are accustomed to life on the road, as am I. Do you recognize this place? I thought you might. Here is it where it all began, where Ardbert first met Lamit. Still young and lacking in experience, but possessed of so much potential. He was in the making, even then the keen-eyed could see. They would only fulfill that promise much later, though, after joining their other dear companions, Brandon and Renda Ray. And one other, an elven woman, not half bad with the sword. But perhaps you are already asking the question, who? There were 5 warriors of light in all, but she would make 6. Indeed, after adding in Nielbert, there does seem to be one too many. But believe me when I say there was indeed a 6th adventurer lost to history, and her name was Silva. Though I doubt I need convince you of this truth, when you walked into the Virtue's memories, you saw her time and time again, did you not? I sure did. Then you saw the true villain, the traitor responsible for all of their woes. Let us continue the story elsewhere, to Amarang and the Fields of Amber. And we are off. You saw the true villain's face in their memories, and I told you her name in Collusia. But what were her crimes, you ask? Hearken to my tale, and you will learn. Silva had joined the others before they first met Nielbert. After their party of 5 came to this place, they took on a commission to slay a powerful beast that had taken up residence in the mines. I just want to interrupt this to say, fun fact, I first started MSQ as a caster, and yeah, I didn't really think, I thought it was weird that Sayala was there. Or Sayala Silva. I thought it was weird that Silva was there with Ardbert's crew. I thought it was really weird because by then it was just Nielbert and the Echo. Everyone was there. In this cutscene here. There she is. Said beast was believed to be the instigator of ever more terrible tremors, and so time was of the essence. But during their hurried search, they crossed paths with their future companion, then a competitor aiming to usurp their prize. And another tremor triggered by the beast trapped them all underground. They had no choice but to work together to lay it low, but to their dismay, even after its death, the earth continued to shudder violently. As the adventurers looked to each other in confusion, Nielbert strode towards the beast's body and grabbed hold of a curious stone, a stone brimming with untold ether that he had sought out that he might harness its potential to rescue a loved one lost to the rift. But so powerful was the stone that it warped the flow of the life stream. Its very existence was a threat, and so, when faced with the choice between one life and countless others, Nielbert wept and shattered the stone. He had held his comrade's salvation in his hand and cast it aside for the greater good. For his sacrifice, he was judged a hero. In that instant, a warrior of light was born. In life, Nielbert was a pragmatic figure whose wisdom and sagacity were admired by all. Little wonder that in death he would retain his virtue. That is a caster. But as Nielbert mourned the friend he forever lost, the betrayer Silva looked on in silent contentment, for they had taken the first step on their path towards becoming the heroes brave and true. His sacrifice had sparked the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. What ritual, you may wonder? Fear not. All will become clear in time. Come with me to Raktika, to the City of Swamps. We must retrace the steps as they were taken to understand the depth of her treachery. Adieu. That Ellison bow is very iconic. And now we are off to Raktika. There needs to be some iconic track in Endwalker. There really needs to be. As Lahi. As iconic as Lahi. Hi. This place is too familiar to you, no? From days recent and long since past. After the events in Amarang, Ardbert and his comrades grew in fame. Spurring others to entreat their aid, the adventurers sought out greater and greater challenges, and in pursuit of another, they came to Raktika. Renda Ray. While there, the hunter Renda Ray learned that the notorious mark, Balam Quits, was near, and so, under cover of darkness, she slipped away from the others to slay the beast by herself. Like Nielbert before, of course, you already know what her motive was. Balam Quits had robbed her of her fellow hunters. Only vengeance would redress the balance. Moreover, she would not dare risk the lives of her new comrades. So terrified was she of the mere possibility that she might have to relive that terrible day. And so, she faced Balam Quits alone, and would have surely died for it, had Ardbert and the others not arrived in time to help. Like Nielbert before, of course, you already know what happened next. For her love, her conviction, and her resolve was she chosen by Hydaelyn. And from that day forward, Renda Ray swore never again to betray her comrades' trust, to share with them the triumphs and tragedies, to relinquish the freedom she once held in the highest. The bravest, most courageous hunter that ever was, that moment would define what she became in life and in death. Her sacrifice would hasten the transformation, was fuel for the ritual to come. The betrayer Silva looked on, yet more satisfied. They were oblivious to her machinations, unaware that they were dancing to her tune. Their journeys continued, and so must ours, to Ilmeg and Lygia. And we are off once again. We sure are going through all the role quest areas, aren't we? I don't think anything will really beat Ilmeg for me. It is such an iconic, pretty area. Here she is, and I think someone else is doing this quest line too. Such a pretty screenshot. I wonder if I can get a shot of Salix and still Sayela. As beautiful now as it was then, you saw it too, would you not agree? With the death of Balam Quits, the legend of Ardbert and his comrades had grown larger than ever. Thus emboldened, they came to the kingdom of Vobert. Vobert had been long troubled by what had some dubbed a magical plague, and is since found transformed into misshapen fiends that the kingdom's knights had no choice but to put down ere the contagion spread. Brandon had been one such knight. In his youth, he had served the Princess Saldia faithfully, only to be cast out for a single mistake. Thus did he take on the road where he met Ardbert and the others. Having grown stronger and wiser and more respected, Brandon felt it was time to return and redeem himself. With the aid of his comrades, he did just that. Todrick, the court mage, was unmasked as the mastermind of Obert's mystery, and by disgraced knight's blade was he brought to justice. But with his dying breath, Todrick cursed the Princess Sadia, sentencing her to a fate worse than death. At her behest did he raise up his blade, and for the sake of the kingdom, strike down his liege lady. With that single stroke he forever changed, though nearly not in the way that was necessary. He stood at the precipice and almost forsook his compassion for unflinching judgment, but faith mercifully turned aside at the last. Thus did he find and embrace true justice, that which weighs law and heart together and strives for their greater good. 'Tis a long, difficult road from which many stray, settling into simpler moralities, but I would expect no less from the man who became the Kaiosine. His sacrifice would strengthen the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. As her companions grew ever more powerful, so did the betrayer Silva. Bit by bit, they brought her closer to her goal. But it was not yet finished. To Colusia they returned, and so must we. Tamara and the next chapter of our tale await. Adieu. It seems this cat girl is also doing this quest line. I'll probably run into her later. Alright, what do you have to say for yourself? Slowly but surely, the adventurers were fulfilling their potential. Word of their deeds in Vobert spread like wildfire, and their legend grew ever larger. But for all their success, the fledgling heroes would be forced to endure more hardship and welcome more sacrifice. They pressed deeper into the depths of Raktika, towards ancient Ranka. 'Twas there that the dwarf Lamit came to a crossroads, for in claiming the magic she desperately desired, she would be forced to renounce something equally precious. Dwarves are a reclusive lot, want to withdraw from the outside world that their many traditions might be preserved in isolation. When the stone blight began to spread, they chose to lock away the afflicted and refuse to seek outside help. But Lamit would not abide this. She vowed to save her ailing kin, her sister among them, even if it meant violating dwarven law. With her newfound power, she returned and cured the sick, and for this she was banished by the Council of Elders. This came as no surprise, for she had made her peace with it long before. When she stood in ancient ruin and called upon forgotten guardians to grant her forbidden knowledge, she knew then what the price would be. She had weighed her traditions and identity against the lives of those she loved and made her choice, and though it pained her terribly and in ways only a dwarf could understand, and Heidelin, it would seem, Through hardship and sacrifice was a new warrior of light forged, a healer that knew more than any the value of a life and would do anything to see it preserved, even in death. Her sacrifice would nearly complete the transformation, was fuel for the ritual to come. Very soon then, very soon. For Ardbert and his comrades had stumbled upon evidence of the larger design, threads linking together the disparate troubles of the realm. A name spoken only in whispers, the Shadowkeeper, a singular force sowing chaos and discord throughout Norvrant to an unknown end. If the Warriors of Light truly wished to save their world, then they would need to confront this villain amongst villains. And at the end of their exhaustive search, at the end of their struggle, who do you think they found waiting to welcome them with open arms? The answer to that awaits us in Lakeland, our final destination. The villain yet walks among us, Salix, unknown and unpunished. Go on ahead and wait for me at Laxton Loft. There are preparations to which I must first attend. Adieu. If you've done the Eden quests, this should also be tying into specifically the Eden's Promise story. Specifically, Eden 10. But yeah, whenever I would see people in my friends list, for example, and I would see them be in Laxton Loft, I would always be so confused until I actually realized what it is. And finally, I think we are here. Maybe? We should be like right here, right? Where is it? There we go. Destination. I think I took fall damage. We are waiting. We are here. And here she is. And the echo. What a really good time for it to start. Let me turn up the game volume. Damn you, Silva! We were comrades in arms. Friends. That we were and that we are. Everything I said, everything I felt, it was all true. You mean the world to me. You're the bloody Shadowkeeper. What in the hells was this for? For you, for every one of you, to forge you into heroes worthy of her blessing, that she might choose you as her champions. A ruthless mage consumed by the pursuit of power to save his friend no matter the cost, by his sacrifice a warrior born. A mournful hunter scarred by a tragedy never resolved never again to trust in others, by her sacrifice a warrior born. A disgraced knight who yearned to seal his heart in justice's name, by his sacrifice a warrior born. A troubled healer torn between tradition and love, by her sacrifice a warrior born. And their leader, An adventurer with a heart overflowing with love for his dearest comrades, who must now bring his axe to bear against his own. By his sacrifice, a warrior born. I am the villain you seek. I am the keeper of shadows from a world shrouded in dark. By our struggle will this world be shattered and its soul saved. Silva! The silent tension. She sure just unsheathed her sword again. Saw it all, did you? I thought you might. Mother's gift has a knack for showing us exactly what we need to see, if not what we want to or when. They knew me as Silva, but my real name, it doesn't matter. Like you, I am not of this world. I crossed the rift and came to the first. My home, the 13th, fell to dark in a calamity that mirrored the one which nearly claimed this world. I was one of the several heroes who failed to save it. The boy, Unukalai. I have glimpsed him in your memories. He was a friend. Like him, I needed the words of the Asians, that I might redress the balance. I chose to come here and hasten a rejoining of worlds. A shard consumed by dark demands a mirror of blinding light. Primordial forces will strive to achieve equilibrium, but there was a solution, a single solution I believed. Were a light of flood to consume this world in its entirety, it would be of no use. The Astians made it clear it must be brought to the brink, but no further. The task was difficult, but the plan simple. Souls predisposed to light. Fledgling heroes in the making. I would bring together Ardbert and his comrades and groom them for a higher purpose. I would play the part of a comrade and guide their course, all the while laboring in secret to pit stronger and stronger enemies against them, until finally, once they were warriors of light, brave and true, I would reveal myself as a warrior of darkness and extinguish their radiance forever. Thus would this world be primed for a rejoining, and the source for a calamity. The Asians who called themselves Mitron and Logriff were confident it would succeed. And indeed, Ardbert and the others rose to the occasion, as I knew they would. It was not to be. I had misjudged Ardbert. His comrades before him had made their sacrifices in turn, and as their mirror I had grown stronger for it. Had he but embraced his role and struck me down, victory would have been mine. But Ardbert, dear Ardbert, would not forsake his heart. And in the end, he chose mercy. He chose love, and I was undone. The rest you know. He sought out Mitron and Logriff and granted them what he refused me. They accomplished everything they set out to achieve, and then the flood came and washed it all away. In the wake of my betrayal, I would look down on from the shadows and reflect on my many sins as all fell to ruin, denied death then and now, and perhaps ever after as a fragment of my essence endures. But then, one day years ago, my fallen comrades rose again as the cardinal virtues. It coincided with the arrival of the first scions, I later realized, a defense against the forces being marshaled to undo my failure. I can but assume that Astians planted the idea in Vothri's head. They were his creations after all, and with their graves in Yulmoran territory, It was doubtless a simple matter to have their bodies exhumed and prepared. Who am I to speak, you may think when I say this, but when I saw these abominations he had wrought in their image, I was filled with such despair, such anger. I cannot unwrite the past. My soul is stained with blackest sin, and I will not pretend that it can ever be otherwise. But this act, this I could not ignore. If the Ascians were going to such lengths, then surely others would cross the rift in due time. And so, I hatched a plan. I would assume the guise of Ciela, and as her, take up residence in the Crystarium, where I would take measures to bring together the most ambitious of adventurers, individuals driven by more than mere coin, virtue hunters. That way, when the enemy the Ascians feared more than any came to the first, the stage would be set. They would join in the hunter's quests, and together unmake Vothri's simulacra and lay their souls to rest once more. And so you did, Salix. The virtues are no more, but the one ultimately responsible for their creation, the devil who set them on their doomed path, lingers still. You know all there is to know of the heroes who saved this world. The truth I kept hidden in the shadows is yours, and there are no more secrets to share. And so, I ask you now to grant me that which Ardbert could not. Death. You still have a duty to others. No, don't do this. Don't you spare me like he did. How can you stand there and say I deserve to live, knowing everything I did, the lives I destroyed, the chaos I brought? The Warden's pale in comparison. Surely there is no greater villain than the Shadowkeeper. Which is why you must live to atone for your deeds. I should have expected a hero would say something like that. How does one even seek atonement? 'Tis an undiscovered country, with no charts or stars to guide. How will I even know when I find it? Well, I got news for you. Perhaps I may yet find purpose in preserving my comrades' legacy and helping others to understand the sacrifices that made them true heroes. For now, I shall return to the Crystarium and continue to assist Glynard while spreading the forgotten tales of the Warriors of Light. You would have been good friends, you and Ardbert, in another life. Maybe you and I as well. Adieu. Let me see. I need to check my journal very quickly. I need to check. Okay. We are not anywhere near done. I went to the wrong place. Don't look at me. I need to go to the let's go to the pendants. I think the pendants is good, right? Yep. All right, what do you have to say for yourself, Ciela? I tell you, I am not at all accustomed to wearing armor any longer. Simply moving about in it was enough to tax my strength, and fighting. Ugh. Any one of Lena's recruits could probably put me flat on my back. Fortunately, I needn't rely on my sword to spread the truth of my fallen comrades' deeds. Only words and the passage of time will see their legacy redeemed in the eyes of the people. Thank you for accompanying me on my journey of remembrance, Salix. May your deeds ever be remembered and celebrated as all heroes deserve. we still have another one to do. Sayela appears unsurprised, though not displeased to see you. If it isn't Salix loitering about the stairs just like any old evening. And here I was worried that you'd gone back to your world for good, and I was too late. It's just that I've been thinking about the crystals belonging to the Warriors of Light. I hear they ended up with you after you lot defeated the Virtues. I assume you have Ardbert's as well? Yeah. Indeed, that does seem appropriate. His bond with Seto is deep and enduring. As for the others, I had hoped you might be persuaded to leave them in my care. Hmm? It was only right that they, like Ardbert, should accompany you on your journey to set this world back on its proper course. Yet, you now have a home you must return to, while the first is theirs. After all they did to keep it safe, they deserve to be here to see what its future holds. Oh, don't make that face. I know it's a big decision, and it needn't fall entirely to you. There are others here who care for the Warriors of Light as much as you do, aren't there? Do. What do you have to say, Giot? Ooh, ha. Now that's some damn fine ale. How many should I order for you? I know you ain't much of a drinker, so 6, 7? What? You want to help deciding the fate of Lamit's crystal and the others too? Does this place have any bigger tankards? Oh, well, if you insist, Luik owes me drinks, plural, so I'll make sure he joins us and maybe grants him while I'm at it. You go on and wait with Sarig and Tainer. Order around while I'm out, you hear? Hello, Tainer. Giot seems excited. Should I be concerned? Good to see you, Salix. What do you say that Giot has so worked up? The crystals, huh? That does sound like a conversation worth getting everyone together for. Lurik really did promise to pay for Giot's drinks? That's a disaster in the making. Not just hers, rounds for the lot of us. Might be that the lad has a few things to learn about coin and the scarcity thereof. Still, I'll not turn down his generosity. Go on and tell the barkeep we'll be needing food and ale for the table. Fine, but please try to exercise some restraint. I'll not carry you back to the room again. Here we are. Here we are. How much of a head start did you get? Should I ask them to bring out the cask? I reckon we should hear Salix out first. I like the heirloom shirt. So, you're telling me that the barmaid was one of Nielbert's companions, not to mention the Shadowkeeper, and from a different world? That's laying it on a bit thick. It certainly raises questions. Quite, such as how she retains her youthful visage. Not that. I had my suspicions about her. The other night I was at the counter quaffing my ale and having a great time, and next I realize I'm outside without a guild to my name, and it ain't the first time. It could only be the power of the Shadowkeeper. No, I think you were just drunk. And not that you drink enough to fell a small army. If Salix says it's true, I'm inclined to believe it, which leaves us with the matter of entrusting the crystals to her. She's right that this was Brandon's home, and the others too, and it's home to their most important memories. Not all of them were good, maybe, but everyone they loved is laid to rest here. I agree, Nielbert belongs here. Ardbert's crystal is with Seto. In this world, Lamit would want to be near. Brenda Ray as well, I think. She'd want to be with her friends in the place that she loved. Yeah. It seems we all agree. A toast then to the warriors of light. Oh, here we go. Oh, to the warriors of light. They are getting very... Drink up, I'm paying, and as bounty hunters, I expect you all to take a proper advantage of that. I hate to disappoint, but I'm not much for alcohol. This juice does look nice, though. Tainer is baby. Oh, here we go. Ah, that's not... Oh no, he's a lightweight. Goodbye. Wow, she's like me. I'm still going at parties too at like 4 a.m. Back in college anyway. He is out. Gone to the world. Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Sayella? How did you manage this? Twice the mess and half the time as a normal patrons, I swear. I overheard your conversation, by the way. Do you agree with your friends? These crystals are yours, Storykeeper. Their legacies are safe with me. You have my word. There they are. Thank you. I can feel them. Their memories. Why? Why, damn it? You're all just like Ardbert. I betrayed you, I manipulated you, and still... You thought of me as a comrade, a friend, until the very end. Speak with Sayella. We finally managed to clean up after you lot, for the most part. Perhaps next time we should set down at Tarpaulin. Nevertheless, I'm grateful for you for entrusting these to me, and as long as I live, I will never stop sharing the true tale of the Warriors of Light, of my friends. And we are done with the first half of the Role Master Quests. Alright, let's get going with this. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, actually, and then a water break, a stretch break, and stuff like that, and I will be right back. I'm back once again. I am here. Alright, let's get started with the second half. The Void Quests. Though both originally from the 13th Shard, Sayella and Unukalai chose to walk vastly different paths after its fall. With the last of the Unsundered gone, the time has come at last for the two to meet once more. What new purpose will they find together? What new path might they forge? Sayella is not finished with you yet. Seeing the rest of you, the lot of you together like that, it reminds me of the old days. Ardbert and the rest, drinking and bickering and laughing, drove each other half mad at times, but there was never any question of who'd be there when times got tough. Can't help but wonder, can I? If I had had companions like that back home, could it have been saved? I'm not the only one who tried, though each of us stood alone. There was Unukalai. We've met. He was working with Elidibus at the time. Yes, he too was the one would-be savior of the 13th, and was spared his fated demise by Asian devices. We spoke once after the destruction of our world. If the others could be saved, we thought we yet had parts to play. What he's up to now that Elidibus is gone, though, I have no idea. Has he found himself a new role, as I have, or does he feel as adrift as we were back then? If you encounter him in the source, I ask that you help him find a way forward, just as you have helped all of us here. We are to speak with Unukalai in the Rising Stones. Another prerequisite for this second half of the questline is not only would you have to finish the first half, obviously, you have to be finished the Warring Triad. You have to have been done with the entire Warring Triad questline. Back in Heaven's Ward. I didn't feel like streaming it because I would have had to put up with Urianje's talking, which I do not have it in me to read out loud after doing coils. Everyone is here. I think this is... Oh, this is... This didn't get quite cleaned up. Don't look at the... don't. This is gonna look way different. Well, this will look sort of the same, but yeah. Look at my husbando. Hello. Alright. Now, Unukalai isn't supposed to be here. This is a very, very instanced area. The Warring Triad. Alright, Unukalai, we are here. Well met, Salix. What brings you here today? Urianje did apprise me of your travels in the first, and of what became of Elidibus at long last. I was not aware that you were working with Silva. I consider her a comrade of sorts, though our time together was short. Looking upon the twisted remains of the world you tried to save creates a bond that few can understand. At that time, we spoke of what we could hope to achieve with our newfound immortality, and of our regrets. Though I then believed what had happened to be the natural result of my age and inexperience, I now think this was merely the least painful explanation I could offer myself. Silva was right. We ought to have sought each other out before it was too late. I would not make the same mistake again. With the Warring Triad gone, I am indeed in need of a new purpose. But to seek it alone is folly. I should like to speak with Silva, assuming such a thing is possible. As I mentioned, she understands how I feel more than any other. Of course, all I require is your soul. You speak of the spirit vessel, correct? The means by which the scions return to the source. If I understand the principles at work correctly, then it was a near miracle you succeeded in bringing them back without killing them. If Elidibus is to be believed, however, my current state makes me something of an exception in matters of life and death. In which case there is naught to be lost from making the attempt. Please say you'll help. We need an expert in spirit vessels. Ooh, we're ringing up someone. I guess we're getting it done. Pray forgive the delay. Thou didst seek my counsel? Aye, the gifts granted young Unukalai by Hydaelyn and the Ascians may prove a boon in easing the transition. However, I know not to what extent, nor what might befall thy spirit should it be lost betwixt worlds. Nevertheless, I know that this is my path forward. Please, Urianger. Very well. If thou believest that thou shalt find a new purpose in the first, I will do all in my power to see thee safely there. We shall be but a few moments. Mayhap a worthy tome might keep thee occupied whilst I perform the necessary magics. So Urian J is gonna do it, huh? We'll see. Find a decent spot to wait for Urian J's return. We're now dumping Unukalai into a spirit bucket. "'Tis done. Pray guard his vessel well." Unukalai is, as I and the other scions were on the first, a soul with form, yet no true body. Thus 'twas a simpler matter to transfer him to the vessel using the selfsame process as before. To withdraw his essence once across the rift ought to prove similarly straightforward. However, I fear that such an existence cannot sustain itself indefinitely. Look to the Ascient example. Their persistent use of flesh and blood vessels surely hath cause. But it danger akin to that which would have been befallen us, had we not returned to the source, I know not. But the time may come when the boy is requireth a fully corporeal form. Should this come to pass, I trust that thou shalt come to his aid. For the moment, however, thou needest only to convey the spirit vessel to Becklug. Farewell, both of thee. Urian. Pretty Elizan. I am loving all these Elizans in my party. If only we had Iseo. I'm never gonna get over that. Alright, we need to go to the Cabinet of Curiosity. I cannot wait for this teleporter UI to get cleaned up in 2 days. I am so excited. Alright, where are you, Becklug? I think Becklug is at the top of here? Oh, thank goodness. Phew! Hello. Back again, are you? I'm flattered that you've grown so fond of Norvrant, or I would be, but you have that expression you always wear when you're about to ask me for something. Here is... Best not tell anyone else about this, lest you suddenly find yourself everyone's first choice in Innerworld Fairy Services. You did what? After all of the perils your friends faced and the labors we undertook to return them to your world, you brought them another soul across the rift? Have you no common sense? It's fine, just work your magics, whichever. There had better be a very compelling reason for all of this, whelp. Removing spirit from vessel will be easy enough, I suppose. However, it requires a few moments without your breathing down my neck. Also, your friend is unlikely to materialize with clothes on, so I doubt they'll want an audience. You should wait here, perhaps take the opportunity for some self-reflection. Oh, very well. At least I tried. We'll find you at the Wandering Stairs directly then. We are to speak with Sayela. Can I jump off? Thank goodness. I don't have the patience. Alright, now we're going back to the pendants. I really love this. They did such a good job wrapping up the Warring Triad storyline with this too. The only things that I really wish they would continue on is the Void Arc. That's like one of the few raid content left over that still hasn't really been talked about later on. From A Realm Reborn and Heavensward stuff. You want me to speak with someone? Very well. You've done the same at my request often enough. How long are we meant to wait for this friend of yours? I do have work to do, you know. Ah, there you are. Pardon the delay. It took some time to acquire robes of an appropriate size. Is this them? Sayella has no idea what's going on. Love that Crystarium robe. Silva! Unukalai! Indeed, it is I. Trust me, I can hardly believe that I'm here by myself. I should think so. When I sent Salix to ask after you, it never occurred to me that you might be able to cross the rift without Ascian aid. No mysterious mask? My choices and my reasons are my own, now. If I am to have faith in them, in myself, I cannot hide who I am. Speaking of which, Unukalai was kind enough to fill me in, unlike some, and I was interested to hear of an erstwhile hero of the 13th serving libations at the Wandering Stairs. But that this hero should be you surpasses the scope of even my considerable imaginings. Was that you at Grannis Licht so long ago? Oh my gosh, she remembers. Not so long to me, or you mayhap, though I had thought I might at last put those days behind me. But perhaps this is for the best. They're not all bad memories. They never are. I should very much like to hear your story, should you be willing to share it. Our world, like this one, had its share of would-be heroes, myself and Unukalai among them. Unlike your warriors of light, however, each was unaware of, or unconcerned with, our fellows. But to fight alone is to fall alone, and the insidious ether of the Auracite used to seal primals corrupted once noble souls and turned them one by one to darkness. Even those who resisted this fate could not escape its consequences. No surprise, perhaps, as we continued to struggle in solitude. We were spared by Ascian machinations, but only as our world met its death. But what if death could be undone? I was told that much of the first was consumed by light, as our home was by darkness, yet balance and life are being restored to even that scoured land they call the empty. Really recommend to do the Eden raids. If such a thing is possible, then why not the reverse? Could we not bring light back to the 13th? Even the Ascians considered the 13th lost, thus was it excluded from the rejoining. But what say you? You have a way of making miracles happen. The world of darkness was not in a state I consider salvageable. Or anything is possible. That doesn't sound like an empty platitude coming from you. It was the same with Ardbert. Pardon the interruption, but might I suggest a closer examination of the conditions on the 13th before we form any conclusions? We could use the Crystal Tower to open a void gate, couldn't we, please? Have you lost your head? The Crystal Tower is not a toy, and you are not to use it to unleash great and terrible void sent upon this world. According to the records, there was but a group who worked on how to open small void gates, through which to summon minor fell beasts and the like. Magics of that nature should work, though I am unsure if any with knowledge of the original technique yet live. There's one literally over here. I guess Veclug wouldn't know. How fortunate. Let us inquire with this Tainer immediately. Yes, you do that. In the meantime, I will ready a means for peering into the depths of the void without endangering ourselves. Use these to contact me when you're prepared to open the gate. We shall, at the very first opportunity. I promise. Speak with Tainer. What a fascinating place to spend one's days. I should love to hear more about the patrons that have passed through. He really hasn't aged a day. Not that should surprise me of all people, but... Is she so shocked? Alright. First quest down, 2 more to go. It's always a pleasure, Salix. Aye, but who's your friend? I don't believe we met. We have not, as I am not from this world. The situation is rather complicated, but I hope that you might be willing to assist me. It is true that we had the means to open such portals. We call them hollows, and it was through one of these that I was drawn into the rift. So it is possible. Not with my power alone. I understand the greatness of your need, and were Nielbert still at my side, I should be glad to make the attempt, but the technique required the combined force of both our energies in resonance. If one person's magics are insufficient, perhaps I could assist. From what I can sense, our ethereal reserves are roughly equivalent, and our physical similarities suggest that our energies are not incompatible. I fear you underestimate the difficulty of the task. Nielbert and I were born for this, and even so it took us years before our efforts were perfectly in step. I realize it's a lot to ask considering that we just met, but could we not just at least attempt it? Yours is the only such magic I've ever heard of, and if we actually might be able to save my home. May I interject? You will recall that the crystals in my possessions preserve the memories of the former warriors of light, including Nielbert's an ethereal form. And Unukalai here has a particular talent for interpreting the minds and motives of ethereal beings, the primals. If I could apply the same principles to interpret Nielbert's crystal, an experiment worth trying at the least, I shall fetch it. We are so hopeful. Nielbert's crystal. Speak to me, Nielbert. Do his memories of training with Tainer remain? They do, and such strong sentiment with them. Brrr. That's a really big Shadowbringers theme. I've said this in so much side content. Shadowbringers side content all has a big recurring theme of memories in it. Tainer, you should know that Nielbert desired nothing so much as to rescue you, his dearest friend. He held so fiercely to his memories of the technique you mastered together because he hoped that they might be your salvation. Oh, Nielbert, I won't let them go to waste. I will do what I can to help see the 13th restored. Thank you. I won't pretend I understand half of what's going on here. Just keep them from running ahead going into anything too dangerous, will you? Nothing to worry about so long as you're around, I'm sure. Wicked White! I nearly forgot. I have a dozen orders to fill. You know where to find me when you've made progress with the gate. I do. Yeah. The hero's journey is done. Alright. Let's do... We're ready when you are. That Unukalai could stand to slow down a bit, but who hasn't been a touch reckless in pursuit of a good cause? Try to make sure he stays in one piece, huh? Aye. If you have no objection, Tainer, I would like to practice creating hollows as soon as possible. Of course, but not within the Crystarium. If we succeed in opening even the smallest window into that realm, it is likely that fell creatures will emerge. Follow me. And we are off. I'm just gonna teleport myself to the Exarch Gate. And just stop going through Gil so quickly. Desolation. Lakeland. I think I did the exact same thing when I went through Shadow Walk with me for the first time. I would have to look back on the VOD to see. Phew. Hi. There you are. Please tell Tainer we can begin. Assuming no one ventures near, this location should be suitable, Unukalai. When I give the word, begin channeling your ether. Nielbert's memories will have told you as much, but it is imperative that you maintain focus on our ethereal resonance throughout this process. With that in mind, Salix, I ask that you take care of any creatures that emerge from the hollow. They should not be of a strength to challenge you, and it will allow us to adjust our attunement without risk. Leave it to me, Master Black Mage. Then let us begin. Here we go. Oops. Come on now, flow where I tell you. Let me attempt to match your focus. There they go with the void. It's opened. It's small, but enough to let something through. Be ready, Salix. And a sprite. There are more pressing matters at hand. Hi. I should be overgeared for this. Yeah. Yep. I love Black Mage. Goodbye. It's been quite a while since I opened a gate between worlds like this, but there are some things we never forget, aren't there? I'm just gonna save Build Up Gauge for later. That was far too much effort for such a small gate. On the contrary, given this was your first attempt, it's incredible that we succeeded at all. Now, try synchronizing your breath with mine. Focus on the rhythm of the ethereal flow. Alright, I'm ready. Here we go. Love that they're both black mages, by the way. Aha, a larger hollow. Of course, the void scent may be proportionately stronger. Here we go again. Another void scent. Oh, I wish the music kept playing. Hi. Here we go again. Anyway, that is a joke since I'm so overgeared. It's been quite a while. Oh, I guess he still says the same thing. Where your breath ends, mine begins. Where your ether flows, mine follows. Together. Love that the World of Darkness music is playing in the background, by the way. And there we go, once again. Unbelievable. Full attunement so soon. Be ready, Salix. Here is Big Boy. There are more pressing matters at hand. Anyway, this guy actually has some HP on him. Not really. Like talking to an old friend. Yes, that's what it was like. I think I've grasped the principle now. I only need remember the feeling for next time. I almost feel as if I do remember it. Your ether is familiar somehow, but that's impossible. Of course. And I believe this is the last one, a bounty of hunters. Is it? It is. Oh. Alright then, I'm gonna take another break. Alright, let's finally just wrap this up. Alright, a bounty of hunters. Unukalai's success with Tainer has only made him more eager to proceed. Now that Tainer and I are capable of performing the necessary magics, I should like to make an attempt at investigating conditions on the 13th. Might I trouble you to contact Beck Lug? Salix, are you there? I hope you've not lost focus on the void problem. I have an exciting breakthrough to share. A work of Porksy-related genius, if I do say so myself. Beck-Luke, excellent timing. We've made considerable progress as well and are ready to open a portal when you are. Well then, what say you meet me at Laxton Loft forthwith? It's far enough from any major aetherite as to avoid the sort of ethereal interference that would be a hindrance to our observation of the void. Very well. We will see you at this Laxton Loft anon, or as soon as I can locate it. I'll lead the way. I too am eager to be one step nearer to our goal. You don't mind if I think of it as our goal, do you? I would be honored. Thank you, Tainer. And we are off. The void calls. You never really thought about it, but this place seems so insignificant after finishing 5.0 that unless if you do Eden and this questline, you don't realize how important Laxton Loft really is. It really has so much to it. This was the arena, I believe. Or inside that door where we fought the Shadowkeeper. I think it was in there. Aye. It appears Beck-Luke has yet to arrive. Patience, Unukalai. Here they are. And there's everyone else in a Porksy. Oh, hello, reality. We are finishing up this quest line. I'm so happy to be doing my final Shadowbringers New Game Plus stream. I hope you weren't waiting for long. Here she is. What, you don't think I didn't want to see this for myself? The 13th was my home too, if you recall. Quite, though as I explained, we won't be the ones doing the seeing, strictly speaking. This familiar will gather all of the information we need. Assuming you two can create a hollow for it to pass through. There they go. I don't know what autumn tide means. That will do nicely. Now fly, my Porksy, fly! Free! Well, it's made it in. And something's coming out. Here it is. Ugh, it's just as horrifying looking as I remember it. My, that is an ugly one, isn't it? Ugh, look at that thing. I wish this was an actual... I wish they kind of made an instance out of this part, but no, it's just a cutscene. There are more pressing matters at hand. Hello. Anyway, we're doing what I do best. Fire 4. Fire 4. Fire 4. Goodbye. I love Black Mage. Yeah, see, I kind of wish they made a solo instance out of that. As I expected, these creatures hardly pose a challenge to you. Maybe don't tell Sarig about how large and horrible that one was, though. We've already come closer than I dared hope. I'm truly fortunate to have found Tainer. These two have really taken to each other, haven't they? I suppose they are of a similar age, in some ways, at any rate. I'll never forget everyone being so confused about seeing this girl in the 1.0 trailer and be like, who is she? Who is she? It just goes to show you who didn't finish the role quests. Thank you for clearing that up. The Porksy ought to be back any moment now. No, I can't sense it. Odd. Perhaps it's lost. If Salix created an etheric beacon as he did for me, it might find its way back more easily. That may work. Give it a go. The stare at it for a prolonged period method has proven ineffective, so you may as well try channeling ether as the boy suggested. We've already come further than I dared hope. Oh, he already says the same thing. What about you, Tainer? As expected, these creatures heard... Oh, y'all kept saying... Why did they not bother changing the dialogue? Oh well, we are doing this. Hello, Porksy, please come home. I'm begging you. I love this music. Keep at it. Aha! A distinctly Porksy-like presence. I see the snout. Piggy! I'm surprised it's still alive. There we are. Now close the hollow before anything follows. I am so loving it. I have a Final Fantasy XIV music. I really do. It's been so long since I've heard this track. We did it. Well, now what are our findings? I believe it has performed its task thoroughly, as instructed. Good Porksy. With luck, its observations may indeed lead to us a means of driving the darkness from the 13th. However, I will need to review its findings in detail before I can tell you more, and it could take years to deduce a suitable solution. I admit that I am impatient to find a way forward, but I have endured millennia with half as much hope as I have now. If I must wait, then that is what I shall do. Like Salix and your warriors of light, I will persevere until my world is safe once more. That is what a hero does. I think you'll make a good one. You as well. If that's the end of the excitement for the time being, we should head back to the Wandering Stairs. clear out any that pall of anxiety Sarig is spreading all over the place. And we are finally done with the Void quest line. That is the end. Because if we look over here, this should be, yep, the end. Alright. The Wandering Shadows. Oh, and my stomach isn't doing so hot right now. So I'm kind of glad we're gonna be ending stream here soon. Alright, Sarig, hello. Let's finally just wrap this up. Ah, you've returned hale and whole. Not that I had any doubt you would, of course. And how did your search of the Hollow go? We may have the information we need to save the 13th. It may be some time, years maybe, until we can be certain, but I will be here for as long as it takes. On that subject, I've been thinking. Would you be interested in joining us? As a bounty hunter, I mean. Sarig and I hunt down sin eaters and other threats. The first was saved, but it remains far from safe. You could help us protect the people here. I think I would like that. Protecting people. If I can do that, then perhaps I will find the strength I need when the time comes. Oh. Oh lord, here we go. Strength, you say? Sounds like you could use a dwarf with a massive hammer. Here she is. There they are. I may have shared the tale of the 13th with a few other noted hunters. I know what it feels like to fight for something you've already lost. To need to find a way to make it right. And I know it's not easy to fight on your own. Inconvenient as that little truth may be. Thus, a new team is born. This calls for a toast. Aw, I really do like the Role Quest crew for Shadowbringers. I really thought it was cool that they brought Unukalai to this, to wrap all this up. I don't object, so long as this lot carries their weight. I'm a bounty hunter, not a puka herder. But yeah, the way they managed to tie in Eden to this. The way they managed to tie in the Warring Triad to this. It's just really, I love this quest line. Thank you so much, all of you. I would be honored to fight at your side. I shall do my best to justify the faith you have shown me, and to save my home, someday. I hope we can visit it together. I really hope someday we can go over to the 13th. It won't be anytime soon. But you know, this questline will sit here and it will always be here for us to keep in mind for the future. And that is it. We are done. And that is the end. We are out of New Game Plus mode. And I believe Sayela and Unukalai have some dialogue now. There is doubtless much I can learn from work as a bounty hunter, especially with Tainer as my guide. I believe the other people say exactly the same thing as they said when you finished a role quest. They're a good lot, the other hunters. They really care about Unukalai and saving that world of his. I'm happy to help however I can, except for the drinking. Count me out of that. Lurik. Oh, don't fret so. I've already told Miss Olvara that I'll be in the Crystarium for the time being. The opportunity was just too good for it to pass up. Think of what we could do with all us hunters together. We'll see, though. It seems we've departed from the first at this point in the main scenario. I'm glad Tainer's made a friend his own age. Bit on the odd side, but aren't we all? Training like that was nice. It was never easy, even back then, but I missed it. And finally, I don't think Lionard has anything to say here. Did I talk to Giot? The other hunters aren't half bad at killing stuff, but we need to work on their drinking habits. Who drinks wine with dinner? I know, Giot. Finally, Sayela, I believe, has a bunch of stuff to talk about. At loose ends, are you? You're welcome to loiter around here if you intend to spend some coin while you're at it. Not that I'm grateful for the business you've brought in mind. The hunters are here even more often now that they're working together, and their accounts never go unsettled for long. They're a pain in the arse to serve, of course. Maybe I'll drop your name next time I need them to behave. Still, it's nice to feel something grand is in motion again. Perhaps Ardbert rubbed off on me more than I anticipated. How fare you of late? Still tending to the bar, cleaning up after drunkards and Glynard. If this is the punishment you had in mind, I struggled to fathom a harsher fate. In all seriousness, I continue to use my spare moments to entertain patrons with stories of the Warriors of Light, and thanks to your recent exploits, it's never been easier to find willing ears. What's more, with no more imposter walking about deceiving the masses, I'm now free to share the tale in its entirety. To speak the unadulterated truth, it seems I'll remain in my calling as a tavern wench for a while yet. Tell me about the Shadowkeeper. Why, only the greatest villain of her day. The mysterious architect of countless tragedies all across Norvrond, who finally faced justice at the hands of the Warriors of Light. The betrayer whose defeat set in motion events culminating with the Flood of Light. But you knew that much, didn't you? Before I took that name, I was known by another in the 13th. A shard, all but consumed by darkness. There, I met with Asians who convinced me that the only path to salvation was to embrace the dark and journey unto this world. I had two objectives. One was to raise up heroes brave and true, worthy of champions of the light. Ardbert and the others, I would join them in their journey and shepherd them unto glory. Heroes need enemies to grow stronger, and so I sowed the seeds of discord from Lakeland to Coluzia, from Amarang to Ilmeg. I set in motion events that would forever change the lives of my comrades and countless others. My second objective was contingent on the first. I would confront the adventurers forged by hardship into Warriors of Light and strike them down at the height of their power, ensuring that the delicate imbalance between the primordial forces would be preserved just so. But in the end, I failed. Tell me about the Warriors of Light. Ardbert, Lamit, Brandon, Rendere, Nielbert. These are the names of the villains responsible for the flood of light which nearly destroyed our world. Lies and slander, of course. They were as much victims of fate as any of us. They traveled the length and breadth of Norvrant, helping those in need, and for their deeds came to be known as heroes, but sometimes all it takes to destroy your reputation is a bad turn. And yet, despite everything that happened, they refused to give up. They cut a deal with the man in white and made one last desperate gamble. But you know that tale better than me, don't you? Tell me about Eden. Eden? And what should I know about that? Mitron? You're quite certain? And a girl bearing Logriff's soul. Thought I sensed something oddly umbral about the Crystarium of late. Ardbert meant to put an end to the whole business, but truth be told, I wouldn't mind retreading old memories a bit. It might be nice to share a pint with the girl, once she's of age, of course, as a matter of fact. Do you think this Gaia would make a good waitress? No? Damn. Let me tell you, you probably would, the moment you met up with Gaia, you probably would be fighting her. Alright, tell me about Unukalai. As I mentioned, we never met in our previous lives, or should I say, while we were properly alive. This never gets less confusing. In any case, we each fought to protect the 13th, but alone as we were, I can hardly say that I know the details of his efforts, only the regrets that we shared after. It wasn't too long before we went our separate ways to play our separate parts, yet here we are again, one last chance to walk the noble path together, who can say? And we are done. That is officially it. And with that, I have finished my New Game Plus marathon. It was a bit of a mini streaming project I just wanted to get done right before Endwalker. It is currently 2:22 p.m. in about 12-ish hours. The servers are going to go down for Shadowbringers, and when they root back up, it'll be Endwalker time. I really enjoyed looking back on the past couple of expansions, and just... I love seeing all the side content to this game, and I'm so excited to see all the side content that there is to check out in Endwalker. But yeah, the next time I go live with Final Fantasy XIV, I will be in Limsa Laminsa, picking up Sage, and we will be leveling. And once I'm level 80, I will do the MSQ. I plan on getting up around 6 a.m. Central Time. I'm gonna try to queue in a little bit early, around 5:30. We'll see. But yeah, the plan is that I'm gonna be up at 6 a.m. live leveling Sage Central Time. And then hopefully I will get Sage leveled up to 80 very quickly, and then we can just move on to the main scenario. And please look forward to it. I was tempted to do a patch note stream, but there's plenty of other big 14 streamers to talk about that with. Anyway, I'm done. And whoever's watching on Twitch or YouTube, thank you. And I hope you are in 14 enjoying Endwalker, as I will be. And with that, I'm out of here. Bye.